right, so have you ever just like stared at your bookshelf
Oh, yeah.
and you're like, what is the secret?
Yeah,
Like, what is the secret to success?
totally.
Is it just luck?
Right.
Is it timing?
Being in the right place at the right time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or is there like a formula?
Yeah. Is there something more?
Is there a blueprint?
Yeah.
Well, today, we are going to be diving deep into the mind of a guy who spent his life trying to crack that code,
Oh, wow.
Napoleon Hill.
Okay. Yeah.
And his book, Think and Grow Rich.
I love that book.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
So what's so interesting about Hill
Yeah.
is that he didn't just like theorize about success.
Right.
He went out and interviewed.
Yeah. He interviewed like over 500
100.
self-made millionaires
Wow.
from all different walks of life.
Like, who are we talking?
Inventors like Thomas Edison,
Oh, wow.
Alexander Graham Bell,
Okay.
industrial giants like Henry Ford.
These are people who built empires.
Exactly.
So this is not about
Yeah.
like some get-rich-quick scheme.
Yeah. No.
This is about
It's about understanding the mindset.
the mental framework
Yeah, the mental framework.
that these titans of industry all had in common.
Yeah, and what's exciting is that Hill really believed that these principles can be applied to any goal.
Any area of life.
Exactly.
It's not just about business.
Right. It transcends specific industries
Yeah.
or time periods.
So we're going to be unpacking.
Yeah, we're going to unpack the underlying principles that drive achievement,
I love that.
regardless of your field or your ambition.
So let's get into it.
Yeah, let's dig in.
So Hill identified several key principles,
Uh-huh.
and one that really jumps out
Yeah.
is persistence.
Persistence.
He found that this was a common thread
Yes.
in almost every single person.
Almost every successful person he studied.
Yes.
It's fascinating, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, take Henry Ford, for example.
Okay.
His first two car companies
Yeah.
flopped,
Completely.
totally failed, but he just kept going.
He kept iterating.
He kept iterating, and well, you know the rest of the story.
He revolutionized the entire auto industry.
Exactly.
It's a good reminder for all of us
Yeah.
because we all hit roadblocks.
Oh, yeah, we all.
We all feel like giving up sometimes.
For sure.
But Hill says,
I would say, like, don't give up so easy.
yeah, keep going.
Yeah. Remember Marie Dressler?
Oh, yeah.
She faced rejection for years as an actress
Wow.
before becoming one of the highest paid stars in Hollywood.
It makes you wonder what if she'd given up
Right. What if she'd given up?
after the first rejection
Or the 10th rejection.
or the 100th.
Or the 100th rejection.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And persistence isn't just about like
It's not just about working hard.
grinding it out.
Yeah, it's deeper than that.
It's about mindset.
It's about maintaining a positive mindset even when things are tough.
Even when you want to give up.
Even when you want to throw in the towel.
Yeah. You got to have that unshakable belief
Yeah, you got to believe in yourself.
in yourself and your goals.
And your goals.
So Hill tells this great story
Oh, yeah.
about F.W. Woolworth.
The founder of the Woolworth department store chain.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
He was a huge advocate of Hill's philosophy.
Okay.
And he actually attributed his own success to applying these principles,
Really?
particularly the principle of persistence.
Wow. He even said.
He even said that the Woolworth building,
Yeah.
which was at one point the tallest building in the world,
Oh, wow.
was a monument to Hill's principles.
That's a powerful statement.
Yeah, talk about a powerful statement.
So if persistence is about more than just like grinding it out,
Right.
what's the key?
Well, Hill would say
Yeah.
it all starts with this next principle,
Okay.
burning desire.
Burning desire.
Yeah, he believed this was like the starting point of
Right.
all achievement,
The fuel.
the fuel that propels you forward.
It's that like intense craving.
Yeah, that insatiable craving.
That won't let you rest
Yeah.
until you achieve it.
Exactly.
And he doesn't just like throw this term around.
Right.
He illustrates it with stories.
Yes, he tells this great story about Edwin Barnes,
Okay.
this young man who desperately wanted to work with Thomas Edison,
As an employee.
not just for Edison,
Oh, wow.
but as his business partner.
That's a big goal.
Huge goal.
So this guy, Barnes, had nothing.
He had nothing, no money, no connections,
This is burning desire.
just this burning desire.
So what did he do?
He hopped on a freight train,
No way.
showed up at Edison's lab,
Wow.
ready to do whatever it took.
That's bold.
Super bold.
And so Edison was like,
Well, Edison wasn't exactly impressed at first,
yeah, I can imagine.
but Barnes, fueled by that burning desire,
Yeah.
he took the lowest paying job
Just to be there.
just to be in Edison's orbit.
He was playing the long game.
Exactly.
He just kept showing up, giving his all.
Yeah, never losing sight of his goal.
And eventually,
Eventually, he got his chance.
he got his shot.
He proved himself, and he became Edison's partner,
Wow.
just like he envisioned.
That's incredible.
It's a testament to the power of a burning desire.
It really is.
It pushed him to take action and persevere despite the odds.
Totally. And Hill uses another story to
Yes.
kind of drive this point home.
A little more unconventional.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
It involves a little girl
Okay.
who was fixated on getting 50 cents
50 cents.
from her uncle.
Okay.
He was resistant at first,
Yeah.
but this girl's unwavering determination eventually wore him down.
So what's the point of that story?
It highlights the sheer force of persistent desire,
Okay.
even for something seemingly insignificant,
Yeah.
like 50 cents.
So Hill is saying,
He's saying if a little girl can wear down a grown man
with her desire for 50 cents,
with the sheer force of her desire for 50 cents.
imagine that same energy
Exactly.
directed toward a meaningful goal.
Imagine what you could achieve.
It's about tapping into that inner fire.
Yes, tap into that inner fire.
But then how do you go from burning desire
Okay.
to concrete results?
That brings us to the next critical piece of the puzzle,
Okay.
a definite plan.
A definite plan.
Hill stresses the importance of having a concrete, actionable plan
Okay.
to achieve your goals.
So it's not enough to just dream.
No, it's not enough to just wish or dream.
You got to have a plan.
You got to map it out.
And Hill was a big believer in walking the walk.
Oh, yeah, he walked the walk.
He committed to a 20-year research project
20 years.
suggested to him by Andrew Carnegie
Wow.
to study the principles of success.
That's a dedication.
And it took incredible persistence.
Yeah,
But it resulted in Think and Grow Rich,
exactly.
proving the power of his own commitment.
His own commitment to a plan.
To a plan.
He didn't just stumble upon these ideas.
Right.
He had a plan, a vision,
Yeah.
and he stuck to it.
No matter what.
No matter what.
And he gives it another example.
Yeah.
Charles M. Schwab,
Okay.
key figure in the formation of U.S. Steel Corporation.
Wow.
He needed to secure financing.
For this billion-dollar venture.
$1 billion.
Even by today's standards, that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
And he managed to do it by presenting a meticulously structured plan.
To investors like J.P. Morgan.
J.P. Morgan, yeah.
And it was his ability to articulate a concrete vision
Yes.
that inspired confidence and led to the success.
Exactly.
So a plan provides clarity
Clarity.
and direction.
Direction.
It keeps you focused, helps you track progress.
And allows you to adjust course when needed.
It's like a roadmap.
Especially valuable when you're feeling lost or demotivated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not just about having a vague idea.
Right.
It's about breaking it down.
Breaking it down into actionable steps.
Actionable steps.
Yeah.
Now let's move on to a principle
Okay.
I find particularly fascinating.
Yeah.
The power of the subconscious mind.
The subconscious mind.
Hill believed this was a key driver in achieving goals,
Absolutely.
even if we're not consciously aware of it.
It's working behind the scenes.
All the time.
All the time, even when you're not actively thinking about something.
So it's like instead of thinking,
Yeah.
I can't afford that,
Right.
you should be thinking, how can I afford that?
How can I afford that?
It's about reframing
By framing your thoughts.
from scarcity
From a mindset of scarcity
to abundance.
to one of abundance.
Hill goes even deeper.
He says the subconscious mind isn't just a passive recorder.
Okay.
It's more receptive to thoughts
Okay.
that are infused with emotion.
Interesting.
He compares it to a fertile garden,
Okay.
ready to receive the seeds of our thoughts.
So if we're dwelling on worry and anxiety,
Right. Those are the seeds that are taking root.
but if we focus on our desires and our goals,
They are strong, positive emotions.
those are the seeds that will flourish.
Exactly.
And Hill says we should use affirmations
Affirmations.
and visualization
Visualization.
to impress our
On
desire.
the subconscious mind.
It's about creating a clear mental picture
A clear mental picture.
of what you want,
And feeling the emotions
Yeah.
associated with achieving it.
as if it's already happened.
As if it's already a done deal.
So it's like training your mind
You're training your mind.
to believe it's already achieved the goal,
Yeah.
which then sets things in motion.
In the real world.
It's almost like magic.
It's like magic, but it's science.
Oh,
You're essentially rewiring your brain,
okay.
creating new neural pathways
That align with your goal.
and align with your goals. Exactly.
Okay, now this next part gets a little
Press it more
esoteric.
esoteric.
Hill talks about the sixth sense,
The sixth
which he describes as this bridge.
between the human mind
Yeah.
and what he calls infinite intelligence.
Now, before anyone listening
Yeah.
thinks this is too woo-woo.
Too out there.
Yeah.
Consider this.
Okay.
He'll believe that we all have access
Okay.
to a higher power,
Okay.
a source of wisdom and creativity
That transcends our understanding.
that transcends our everyday understanding.
He called it infinite intelligence.
Right.
But you can call it whatever resonates with you.
Whatever works for you.
Universal consciousness.
God the source.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter the label.
So is the sixth sense,
Yeah.
like our intuition,
That's a big part of it.
that gut feeling?
That gut feeling that sometimes guides us.
Yes.
Yes, Hill saw the sixth sense
Okay.
as a blend of intuition, inspiration, and insight.
So it's that inner voice.
Yeah, that inner voice that whispers a new idea.
Or that feeling of knowingness.
That feeling of knowingness.
That defies logic.
That defies logic, exactly.
Okay, so how do we tap into it?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Yeah.
Well, he'll believe that the sixth sense becomes more acute
Okay.
as we master the other principles we've been discussing.
Okay, so persistence.
Persistence,
Burning desire.
burning desire,
Definite plan.
definite plan.
Okay.
He also recommended practices like meditation
Oh, yeah.
and spending time in nature
To cultivate a deeper connection.
to cultivate a deeper connection with that source of infinite intelligence.
It's about quieting the mind.
Quieting the mind, tuning out the noise,
Tuning out the noise of everyday life.
and creating space
For that inner wisdom.
for that inner wisdom to emerge.
To emerge.
Exactly.
He also talks about using the imagination
Oh, yeah.
as a tool to connect.
As a tool to connect with this higher power.
He even recommends creating
An invisible council
an invisible council.
made up of people you admire,
Oh, wow.
historical figures, mentors, whoever inspires you.
And you have imaginary meetings with them.
You hold imaginary meetings with them.
I love that.
It might sound a little unconventional,
Yeah.
but think about it.
Yeah.
It's a way to tap into the wisdom and experience
Of these amazing people.
of those you admire, even if they're not physically present.
So it's like having an inner circle.
Yeah, an inner circle of advisors
Guiding you.
guiding you from beyond the limitations of time and space.
I love that concept.
By visualizing yourself interacting with these inspiring figures,
Yeah.
you're drawing on their wisdom
And impressing those qualities.
upon your subconscious mind.
This is mind-blowing.
It is pretty mind-blowing.
But Hill's also very practical. He doesn't just
Yeah.
paint this rosy picture
Right.
of effortless success.
No, he acknowledges that there are roadblocks we all have to overcome.
There are challenges.
He calls them the three enemies of success.
Okay, what are they?
Indecision,
Okay.
doubt,
Uh-huh.
and fear.
These are the inner demons.
The inner demons that hold us back
From achieving our full potential.
from achieving our full potential. Exactly.
So these are the mental weeds
Yeah, the mental weeds
that choke out the seeds.
that choke out the seeds of our desires,
Yeah.
preventing them from taking root and flourishing.
And Hill argues that fear.
Fear is the most insidious of the three.
He dedicates a whole chapter.
A whole chapter to what he calls the 6 basic fears.
The 6 basic fears.
Yeah.
Okay, give them
Yeah.
to me.
Poverty,
Okay.
criticism, ill health,
Okay.
loss of love,
Mhm.
old age,
Okay,
and death
These are the fears
that haunt us,
that keep us small.
keep us playing it safe.
Yeah.
And he doesn't just scratch the surface.
Right.
He digs into the root causes of these fears.
Which often stem from.
Childhood experiences,
Yeah, sure.
societal conditioning.
Okay, so it's about understanding
Understanding where those fears come from
so we can dismantle them.
so we can dismantle them. Exactly.
For example, fear of poverty
Might be rooted in witnessing financial struggles
in your family growing up.
in your family growing up.
Or the fear of criticism.
Could stem from being constantly belittled
Or shamed.
or shamed as a child.
So how do we break free
That's the question, right?
from these fears?
How do we break free from these fears?
They feel so ingrained.
They can feel very deeply ingrained.
So ingrained.
Hill's answer is surprisingly simple.
Okay, I'm ready.
Knowledge,
And
understanding. He believed that fear is often based on ignorance
okay.
or a misunderstanding of the true nature of reality.
So it's about educating ourselves
Educating ourselves, questioning our beliefs,
and challenging those negative thoughts,
challenging the negative thoughts that fuel those fears,
facing them head on,
facing them head on instead of letting them control us.
instead of letting them control us.
Exactly.
It's about replacing fear
Replacing fear-based thinking with faith and courage.
with faith and courage.
And one of the things I find particularly insightful is Hill's perspective on worry.
Okay, tell me about that.
He sees worry as a form of sustained fear,
Okay,
fueled by indecision.
that makes sense.
We get paralyzed by indecision, which
Yeah.
then feeds our anxieties
And keeps us stuck.
and keeps us stuck in the cycle of worry.
And he also points out that worry,
Worry can become a self-fulfilling prophecy.
oh yeah,
When we're constantly dwelling on our worries,
Yeah.
we're actually attracting those negative experiences.
into our lives.
It's like we're sending out a signal to the universe
Yeah.
saying, hey, I'm expecting bad things to happen.
And the universe delivers.
And the universe tends to deliver.
It makes you realize how much time and energy
So much wasted time and energy.
we waste worrying.
Worrying about things that never actually happen.
It's like we're borrowing trouble
Borrowing trouble from the future.
out of future.
I guess so.
Worrying is like paying interest.
Paying interest on a debt you may never owe.
So if we can conquer those fears,
Especially the fear of failure.
we can unlock a whole new level.
A whole new level of potential.
It's about stepping outside our comfort zones
Stepping outside of our comfort zone.
and embracing the unknown.
Embracing the unknown.
And Hill sees fear as the biggest obstacle.
The biggest obstacle to success.
It paralyzes us,
It keeps us stuck in our routines.
prevents us from taking risks.
Prevents us from taking the risks necessary for growth.
He has this great quote
Oh, I love this quote.
about fear.
Yeah.
Fear is nothing more than a state of mind.
And a state of mind is subject to control and direction.
That's so empowering.
It is so empowering.
We have the power to choose.
We have the power to choose our thoughts,
our beliefs,
and ultimately our actions.
We're not victims of circumstance.
We have agency.
This is really resonating with me.
It's a whole new way of looking at the world.
It really is.
And your place in it.
That's the beauty of Hill's work.
It challenges us to examine our beliefs.
And take ownership.
Of our lives.
But we're not done yet.
We're not done yet.
We have one more principle.
One more principle to explore.
And
this one might surprise you.
Okay, bring it on.
Hill's insights on what he calls sex transmutation.
Okay.
Might just change your understanding of success.
All right.
It's a concept that often gets misinterpreted, so we're going to unpack it carefully when we come back for the final part of our deep dive.
I'm excited.
Into Think and Grow Rich. Welcome back.
So we left off talking about the subconscious mind.
Right, how it's constantly working in the background, shaping our reality.
Yeah, like instead of thinking, I can't afford that, we should be asking, how can I afford that?
Precisely, it's about shifting from a mindset of scarcity to one of abundance.
Reframing those thoughts.
And Hill goes even deeper, explaining that the subconscious mind isn't just passively recording everything.
Okay.
It's more receptive to thoughts that are infused with emotion.
Interesting.
He compares it to a fertile garden ready to receive the seeds of our thoughts.
So if we're constantly dwelling on worry and anxiety,
those are the seeds that take root.
But if we focus on our desires and goals,
with strong positive emotions,
those are the seeds that will flourish.
Exactly.
So Hill says we should use affirmations.
Affirmations, yeah.
Visualization.
Visualizations to really impress those desires on the subconscious mind.
So it's about creating a clear mental picture.
A clear mental picture of what you want.
And feeling the emotions as if it's already happened.
As if it's already a done deal.
So you're training your mind to believe you've already achieved the goal.
You're essentially rewiring your brain.
Wow.
Creating new neural pathways that align with your goals.
Okay, now this next part gets a little more, shall we say, esoteric?
A little out there.
Hill talks about the sixth sense.
The sixth sense.
He describes it as this bridge between the human mind and what he calls infinite intelligence.
Now, before you dismiss this as too woo-woo.
Yeah, too far out there.
Consider this.
Okay.
Hill believed that we all have access to a higher power, a source of wisdom and creativity.
That goes beyond what we normally think of.
That transcends our everyday understanding.
He called it infinite intelligence.
But you can think of it as whatever resonates with you.
Universal consciousness.
Not the source.
It doesn't really matter the label.
Exactly.
So is the sixth sense kind of like our intuition?
That's a big part of it.
That gut feeling.
That gut feeling that sometimes guides us in ways we can't explain. Hill saw the sixth sense as this blend of intuition, inspiration, and insight.
So like that inner voice that whispers a new idea.
Or that feeling of knowingness that defies logic.
But how do we tap into this sixth sense?
Good question.
Is it like a muscle that gets stronger with practice?
That's a great way to think about it.
So how do we exercise it?
Well, Hill believed that the sixth sense becomes more acute as we master the other principles.
Okay, so persistence, burning desire, a definite plan.
Exactly. He also recommended practices like meditation.
Oh, yeah.
Spending time in nature.
To quiet the mind.
To quiet the mind, tune out the noise of everyday life.
And create space for that inner wisdom.
For that inner wisdom to emerge.
He also talks about using the imagination as a tool to connect with this higher power.
Yeah, he even suggests creating what he calls an invisible council.
An invisible council?
Made up of people you admire.
Like mentors or historical figures?
Whoever inspires you, you hold imaginary meetings with them.
I love that.
It might sound unconventional, but think about it. It's a way to tap into the wisdom and experience of those you admire, even if they're not physically present.
So it's like having your own personal board of advisors.
An inner circle guiding you from beyond the limitations of time and space.
And by visualizing yourself interacting with these inspiring figures,
you're drawing on their wisdom and impressing their qualities upon your subconscious mind.
This is pretty mind-blowing stuff.
It is, but Hill is also very practical.
Right, he doesn't sugarcoat things.
He acknowledges that there are real roadblocks we have to overcome.
Challenges along the way.
He calls them the three enemies of success.
Okay, what are they?
Indecision,
okay,
doubt, and fear.
Those are some powerful enemies.
They're the inner demons that hold us back from achieving our full potential.
So they're like mental weeds.
Choking out the seeds of our desires.
Preventing them from taking root and flourishing.
And Hill argues that fear is the most insidious of the three.
Yeah, fear can be paralyzing.
He dedicates an entire chapter to what he calls the 6 basic fears.
Okay, I'm ready to lay them on me.
Poverty, criticism, ill health.
Okay.
Loss of love, old age, and death.
Those are some heavy hitters.
They haunt us, keep us playing it safe, keep us small.
And he doesn't just talk about these fears superficially.
No, he digs into the root causes.
Which often stem from
childhood experiences, societal conditioning.
So it's about understanding where those fears come from.
So we can start to dismantle them.
So, for example, The fear of poverty might come from seeing your parents struggle financially.
Exactly. Or the fear of criticism could stem from being constantly belittled or shamed as a child.
So how do we break free from these fears?
They can feel so ingrained.
Like they're part of us.
Hill's answer is surprisingly simple.
Okay, I'm listening.
Knowledge and understanding.
We need to understand our fears.
He believed that fear is often based on ignorance or a misunderstanding of reality.
So it's about educating ourselves.
Questioning our beliefs.
Challenging the negative thoughts.
Challenging the negative thoughts that fuel those fears.
Facing them head on.
Instead of letting them control us.
So it's about replacing fear with...
faith and courage.
I like that.
One of the things I find really insightful is Hill's perspective on worry.
Oh, tell me more about that.
He sees worry as a form of sustained fear,
Okay.
fueled by indecision.
We get stuck in that loop of indecision.
We get paralyzed by it, and it feeds our anxieties, keeping us trapped in a cycle of worry.
And he also points out that worry can become a self-fulfilling prophecy.
When we constantly dwell on our worries, we're actually attracting those negative experiences into our lives.
It's like we're putting in an order with the universe.
Exactly, like we're saying, hey, I'm expecting bad things to happen.
And the universe says your order is coming right up.
It makes you realize how much time and energy we waste worrying about things that never even happen.
It's like we're borrowing trouble from the future.
Worrying is like paying interest on a debt you might never owe.
So if we can conquer these fears, especially the fear of failure,
We unlock a whole new level of potential.
it's about stepping outside of our comfort zones.
Embracing the unknown, taking risks.
And Hill sees fear as that ultimate obstacle to success.
It paralyzes us, keeps us stuck in our routine.
Prevents us from taking those leaps of faith.
He has this great quote about fear.
I love his quotes.
Fear is nothing more than a state of mind, and a state of mind is subject to control and direction.
That's so empowering.
It reminds us that we have the power to choose our thoughts.
Our beliefs and ultimately our actions.
We're not victims of circumstance. We have agency.
This is really making me rethink my whole approach.
That's the beauty of Hill's work.
It's like a whole new perspective.
It challenges us to examine our beliefs and take ownership of our lives.
But we're not done yet.
There's one more principle to explore,
Okay, bring it on.
and this one might surprise you.
I'm ready for anything.
Hill's insights on what he calls sex transmutation might just change your understanding of success.
Okay, now that's definitely a curveball.
It's a concept that's often misinterpreted.
I can imagine.
So we'll unpack it carefully when we come back for the final part of our deep dive into Think and Grow Rich.
Okay, so we're back and ready to tackle this concept of sex transmutation.
This is one of Hill's most misunderstood principles.
Yeah, it's definitely raised some eyebrows.
It's often misinterpreted as some kind of endorsement of celibacy.
Right, like you have to suppress your desires.
Exactly, but that's not what he's saying at all.
So what is he getting at?
Hill was actually making a profound point about energy.
Okay.
He believed that sexual energy is one of the most powerful forces we have.
Oh, wow.
It's a wellspring of creativity and vitality.
But he's not saying we should deny it.
Not at all. It's not about suppressing those urges.
So it's more about channeling them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hill's concept of sex transmutation is about consciously redirecting that energy
Towards other things.
towards other pursuits, creative endeavors, ambitious goals.
Anything that requires drive and passion.
Precisely. It's like taking that raw energy and transforming it into fuel for success.
So he's saying this is a key to achievement.
He studied countless successful people,
Yeah.
and he observed that many of them had a strong libido,
Okay.
but they had learned to harness that energy and channel it into their work.
So it's like their secret weapon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hill believed that this energy, when consciously directed, could fuel innovation, problem-solving, the pursuit of excellence.
But how do you actually do this transmutation?
Right? Is there a technique?
Yeah, is there a method?
Hill doesn't lay out a step-by-step guide,
Okay.
but he emphasizes willpower, mental discipline, and focusing on higher ideals.
So you have to have a strong mind.
You need that mental fortitude. And
Okay.
he believed that when we set our sights on something truly inspiring, something bigger than ourselves,
Yeah.
it becomes easier to channel those energies constructively.
So it's about finding your purpose, your passion.
That thing that sets your soul on fire.
That burning desire.
Exactly. When we have that kind of drive, that's when the magic happens.
That's when we can tap into that reservoir of energy and use it to fuel our dreams. Now, Hill also talks about love and romance.
Yes.
And how they play into this.
It's not about denying those emotions.
Okay.
Hill believed that love and romance, when experienced in a healthy and balanced way,
Yeah.
could actually amplify our creativity and inspiration.
So it's about integrating all these powerful emotions
Passion, love, purpose.
and channeling them into something meaningful.
Exactly. Hill saw it as a kind of synergy where these positive forces combine to fuel extraordinary achievements.
This is giving me a whole new perspective on the power of emotions.
It's like we have this untapped potential within us just waiting to be unleashed.
And Hill's message is all about realizing we have more control
More control over our minds
in our destiny.
than we often give ourselves credit for.
It's about taking responsibility for our thoughts,
Our emotions,
and using them to create the lives we truly desire.
We're not just passive passengers.
We're the drivers of our own success.
And that's what makes Think and Grow Rich so timeless.
It's not just about accumulating wealth. It's about becoming the best version of ourselves.
It's a roadmap for success in any area of life.
A call to action, to step into our power.
And become the architects of our own destinies.
So if you're ready to start thinking and growing rich,
in every sense of the word,
I highly recommend checking out Hill's work.
It's a treasure trove of wisdom and inspiration.
This deep dive has been incredible.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I can't wait to see how I can apply these principles in my own life.
I have a feeling you'll achieve incredible things.
Well, that's a wrap on our deep dive into Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich.
It's been a pleasure exploring these ideas with you.
And to everyone listening, keep thinking, keep growing, and never stop reaching for your dreams.